Okay, after you have gone through and created a scatter plot looking at all of the animals and their age in weeks, their age and how long it takes for them to get adopted, and you've copied that into your Google Doc, and you've answered the questions that look like this. Where are the points clustered? Are the places where the cloud is denser? The cloud is all of the spots and the dots. Are there any points that stray from the pack? Here's one here. Does the cloud seem to go up or down as the number of weeks increases? What I want you to do is, these are questions you want to look at when you're actually answering and analyzing your scatter plot. So once you finish the scatter plot looking at the age of the animals and how many weeks it takes for them to be adopted, I want you to go through the slides here on Bootstrap World and read through the lines of best fit, and that's looking for the best line that kind of cuts. Can we draw a line in our graph that cuts through the middle of our cloud? Looking for correlations. And also looking for outliers. Those are the dots or the points or the actual animals that don't really fit in. So these are things that you want to look at when you're analyzing your scatter plot. I'm going to let you read through these for some outliers and some information. But then what I want you to do is I want you to try practicing making some other scatter plots. And for every scatter plot you make, you need to copy that information into a Google Doc and then write 2 to 3 sentences describing or analyzing it. So looking at the age and versus weight of an animal, pounds of an animal, number of weeks, pounds, number of legs, to see if there are any correlations between these 2 different data points in our data. So once you've made these scatter plots and analyzed them, then you'll move on to the next part. And that will be working page 51 in your workbook, which you will then be looking at creating a table plan. And I'm going to move it back up here. That's going to answer the question, defining a function of dogs versus age in weeks. So we're basically taking a look at how long, what is the relationship between the age of a dog and how many weeks it takes to get adopted. Notice this is a very similar scatter plot to the total animals. The only difference is now we're using a table filter to pull out only the dogs. So that's what you're going to be working on. Once you've created your scatter plot, copied that scatter plot into your Google Doc, then you'll move on to the next piece. So this, I think, looks pretty straightforward. You're looking for drawing predictor lines and just determining whether or not you think the predictor line is strong, something like section A or example A. This would definitely be a positive line, and it would be a strong predictor line because it is a definite line. So I'm going to let you work through that. The last page here, correlations in my data set. I wanted to be clear that you understood what this was about. Here, you're going to start looking at your data set that you're working on, and you're going to start thinking about different columns that you want to investigate. So I want you to think of different columns of data that you might think, or there might be a correlation between. And then you're going to predict it based on what you know. I'm not asking you to draw the scatter plot yet. I'm just asking you to make predictions. And then at the very end, you're going to say whether or not it would be stronger if you looked at a subset or an extension of my data. So that would mean, am I going to just pull out a filter and look at a specific part of my data set and look at 2 columns of data? Or would I create a build column, a new column to my data set, and see if that would look a little bit different if I was going to compare? So you're going to think of a couple of these correlations here. And there's 3 of them that I want you to think about, because then we're going to be putting them into practice. If you get to this point at the end of class today, there will be some table plans on the desk like this that you can start putting together your table plans to create your new scatterplot functions that you can be using towards your final. So that's the goal for today. Hopefully you are able to get through there, and then we are done with Unit 7.